Welcome back, viewers. Starting 23rd of this month, the holy month of Ramzan will begin. 1 month usually of fasting, of prayers and festivities, of meeting loved ones, spending time with them, visiting mosque and praying for people in our country. But unfortunately, this time, Ramzan is happening in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of a lockdown. So a lot of what usually happens will not be allowed, cannot be done. As you know, and repeatedly we've spoken about it, that in times such as this, people need to refrain from visiting their places of worship. Prayers can be done at home. Everything else can be done from home because it is not prudent to step out. So one more time, again, we're going to ask many people to join us on this channel and put out an appeal to ask people to not step out, to not crowd together in market areas, in mosques at this point of time, to stay at home, follow the lockdown, keep your fast, do your prayers, but still stay indoors. That's simply what we want to do. Before I go across to our panelists, I also have Union Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi joining us right now. Mr. Naqvi, thank you for speaking with us. Mr. Naqvi, ये बहुत अलग समय है. एक पैंडेमिक, एक लॉकडाउन के बीच में रमजान का महीना शुरू हो रहा है टुवर्ड्स द लेटर पार्ट ऑफ दिस वीक. क्या मैसेज रहेगा आपका लोगों के लिए?
देखिए, ये जो कोरोना का कहर है वो केवल हिंदुस्तान में नहीं बल्कि पूरी दुनिया में उस कहर से लोग प्रभावित हैं, उस चुनौती से परेशान हैं. अगर आप देखें तो चाहे वो मंदिर हो हिंदुस्तान में, मस्जिद हो, गुरुद्वारे हो, चर्च हो या जितने भी धार्मिक स्थान हैं, वहाँ पर भीड़ भाड़ वाले कोई भी कार्यक्रम महीनों से नहीं हो रहे हैं. केवल हिंदुस्तान में ही नहीं, अगर आप देखें तो सऊदी अरब में, मक्के मदीने में, काबे में, हरम शरीफ में जो तवाफ़ होता है, जो उम्रा होता है, वो उस पर वो भी रोक लगी हुई है. जो दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी मस्जिद कही जाती है मस्जिद नबवी, वहाँ पर भी जो है वो भीड़ भाड़ वाले कोई भी धार्मिक कार्यक्रम नहीं हो रहे हैं. और दुनिया के तमाम देशों ने ऐसे कार्यक्रमों को कोरोना के कहर को ध्यान में रखते हुए ख़त्म किया है, बंद किया है. इसी तरह से हिंदुस्तान में भी अगर आप देखें तो महीना भर से ज़्यादा समय से मस्जिदों में या अन्य धार्मिक स्थलों पे कार्यक्रम नहीं हो रहे हैं. अभी हमने एक हफ्ते पहले जो 30 से ज़्यादा सेंट्रल वक्फ बोर्ड्स हैं, उन वक्फ बोर्ड के जो चेयरमैन हैं, जो ऑफिसर्स हैं, जो अधिकारी हैं, उनके साथ बातचीत की थी. धार्मिक लोग हैं, धर्मगुरु हैं, उनके साथ भी बात की थी. सबने आम सहमति के साथ ये डिसाइड किया है कि रमज़ान जो 24 से शुरू होगा, 25 से उसके रमज़ान की प्रक्रिया शुरू हो जाएगी. उसमें हम मस्जिदों में, ईदगाहों में, धार्मिक स्थलों पे, सार्वजनिक स्थलों पे नमाज है या इफ्तार है या तरावी है, इसके कोई भी कार्यक्रम नहीं करेंगे, बल्कि घरों पर ही सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग को ध्यान में रखकर करेंगे. एक बहुत पॉजिटिव निर्णय सभी लोगों का, एक सामूहिक निर्णय.
लेकिन नाकवी जी, और ये सिर्फ एक धर्म की बात नहीं है, बाकी धर्मों के भी एग्जाम्पल्स हमने देखे हैं जहाँ लोग अभी भी चले जाते हैं, चाहे मंदिर हो या मस्जिद हो, पूजा करने के लिए, और उनको समझ नहीं आता कि लॉकडाउन के समय में नहीं जाना चाहिए. तो क्या आपको लगता है कि जो अनाउंसमेंट्स की जाती हैं लाउड स्पीकर्स पे वो बढ़ा देनी चाहिए, जो लीडर्स की तरफ से मैसेज जाता है वो बढ़ा देना चाहिए? बिकॉज ये तो बहुत ही क्रूशल समय है, इसमें तो ज़्यादा हमें ये मैसेज लोगों तक पहुँचाना होगा.
देखिए, लगभग 7 लाख, मोर देन 7 लाख मास्क हैं, ईदगाहें हैं, मज़ार है, वो ये धार्मिक स्थल हैं, उसके अलावा दरगाहें होती हैं या और भी स्थान हैं, सामाजिक स्थान हैं, वो वक्फ बोर्ड्स के अंतर्गत आते हैं. 7 लाख से ज़्यादा वक्फ बोर्ड के सभी जो पदाधिकारी हैं, जो सभी ऑफिसर्स हैं, सब ने जिम्मेदारी ली है और काम भी शुरू कर दिया है कि हम जो है वो लोगों में जागरूकता भी पैदा करेंगे और लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन के साथ मिल करके इस तरह की गतिविधियां, धार्मिक गतिविधियां भीड़ भाड़ के साथ किसी भी धार्मिक स्थल पर ना हो, इसकी हम व्यवस्था करेंगे, पुख्ता व्यवस्था करेंगे, नंबर 1. और लोग अपने घरों पर ही नमाज पढ़ें, इफ्तार करें, तरावी करें, वो करें, उसके लिए भी हम लोगों में जागरूकता पैदा करेंगे. और लोगों ने खुद आगे बढ़ करके इस तरह के फैसले को किया है, मुझे लगता है कि ये सफल रहेगा. और लोग जो है वो घरों से बाहर नहीं निकलेंगे। जो भी सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग का, लॉकडाउन का या अन्य जो और भी लोकल स्टेट की गवर्नमेंट्स है या लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन जो दिशा निर्देश देगा उसका पालन।
एक और इशू है नकवी जी, अभी हमने कुछ इंस्टेंसेस देखे हैं, कुछ ऐसे हादसे हुए हैं देश के अलग अलग कोने में जहां मुस्लिम्स को टारगेट किया जा रहा है, उनके अगेंस्ट डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हो रहा है, और ये सब इसलिए इस कारण से कि वो एक इवेंट हुआ, एक निज़ामुद्दीन का जो इवेंट हुआ जिसके कारण काफ़ी केसेस हो गए हमारे देश में, उसका ब्लेम और वो एक्सक्यूज लेके हम देख रहे हैं कि डिस्क्रिमिनेशन के कुछ इंस्टेंसेस बाहर आए। इस चीज़ को आप कैसे देखते हैं?
देखिए, मैं इस मुल्क में मुस्लिम्स के ही हज़ारों ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हैं, हज़ारों संस्थाएँ हैं, उनमें एक संस्था ये है। लेकिन इसके गुनाह को पूरे देश के मुसलमानों के गुनाह के साथ जोड़ना अन्याय होगा और उससे वो भी गुनाह होगा। इसलिए जो है ये एक संस्था है, इसने गुनाह किया है, इसने एक क्राइम किया है और उस क्राइम की उसको जो है कानून के दायरे में सज़ा मिलेगी। लेकिन मेरी उनसे भी अपील है कि वो जो है वो खुद ये लोग बाहर निकलें, जो इनके सहयोगी हैं उनसे भी कहें कि वो जांच अपनी कराएं, सुरक्षा और स्वास्थ्य के कर्मियों के साथ सहयोग करें और खुद भी जो इनके हेड हैं उनको भी इसी तरह का व्यवहार करना चाहिए। अदरवाइज इनकी जो जिद है इनके जुर्म को और बढ़ाती जा रही है और लोगों में इसको लेकर के गुस्सा भी है, नफरत भी है और ये नफरत और गुस्सा केवल एक समाज में नहीं है बल्कि पूरे देश में है। उसमें मुसलमान भी शामिल है जो इनसे बहुत गुस्से में है और उसको लगता है कि इनकी वजह से हम कितनी मुसीबत में, हमको लोग जो है क्या सोच रहे हैं हमारे बारे में। जबकि उस देश के ज्यादातर मुसलमान, प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जब आह्वान किया जनता कर्फ्यू का, सबने उसमें सहयोग किया। जब लॉकडाउन 1 हुआ तब सबने सहयोग किया, लॉकडाउन 2 हुआ तब सब लोग सहयोग कर रहे हैं। तो इसलिए ये घटना जो है वो एक गलत है, एक चीज। दूसरी चीज, ये अनफॉर्चुनेटली एक बोगस बैशिंग ब्रिगेड चलती है। वो बोगस बैशिंग ब्रिगेड ने डिस्क्रिमिनेशन को इसके साथ जोड़ दिया है। मतलब ये कोरोना की जो जंग है उस जंग में वो कम्युनलिज्म का तड़का लगा दिया और इसका नतीजा हुआ कि दुनिया में जो है इस तरह की अफवाहें फैल गई। कुछ हमारे बहुत ही बुद्धिजीवी लोग हैं वो लिख पढ़ भी रहे हैं। इस वक्त जब देश एकजुट होकर के इस चुनौती को उस पर विजय पाने के लिए काम कर रहा है तो ऐसी अफवाहें, ऐसी फेक न्यूज, ऐसी फेक एंड फैब्रिकेटेड किस्से और कहानियां देश के भी हित में नहीं है और जिस समाज के लिए आप कर रहे हो उसके हित में तो बिल्कुल नहीं है। इसलिए जो है वो जो इस तरह की घटनाएं हुई हैं अगर, तो उसमें जो है कानून के तहत कार्रवाई हो रही है और होगी। ऐसे लोगों को, ऐसी घटनाओं को किसी भी तरह से नजरअंदाज भी नहीं किया जा सकता और माफ भी नहीं किया जाएगा जो भी इसमें गुनाहगार होगा। लेकिन इसको जो है वो आप पूरे देश में ऐसा हो रहा है ये पेश करना, मुझे लगता है कि ये अन्याय होगा और देश की छवि को खराब करने की कोशिश होगी।
नकवी जी, मुझे तो बहुत हैरानी होती है कि कैसे कोई भी चीज़ हो, कोई भी समय हो, कोई भी इशू हो, कुछ लोग उसमें कम्युनल एजेंडा कैसे निकाल लेते हैं और अपना जो कम्युनल हेट्रेड है वो उसको हर चीज़ में कैसे घुसा लेते हैं या उनको मौका मिल जाता है, एक एक्सक्यूज़ मिल जाता है। इसके पहले कि मैं आपको जाने दूँ, मेरी आपसे एक रिक्वेस्ट है। आप बहुत अच्छी तरीके से कई बार मैसेज एक पुट अक्रॉस करते हैं, शायरी के थ्रू, स्पेशल पंक्तियों के थ्रू, अपने अलग अंदाज में। इतना टफ समय चल रहा है, पूरा देश साथ में मिलकर लड़ रहा है, क्या कुछ स्पेशल आप कहना चाहेंगे?
अब इस संकट के समय में पंक्तियां तो ज्यादा नहीं रहती, लेकिन एक मैं इस वक्त में मैं जरूर कह सकता हूं कि अ, अ, हो सकता है कि वो साहिब किरदार ना हो सकता है कि वो साहिब किरदार ना हो, पर पूरी की पूरी कौम तो गुनाहगार ना हो। तो पूरी की पूरी कौम कोई गुनाहगार नहीं हो सकती अगर एक संस्था और एक व्यक्ति अगर साहिब किरदार नहीं है, अगर एक व्यक्ति, एक संस्था जो है वो उसकी पालन नहीं कर रही है। तो इसलिए जो है वो ये संकट का समय है, हम सबको एकजुट होकर के और इस कोरोना के जंग में कास्ट, क्रीड, कम्युनलिज्म या जो है वो रीजन और रिलीजन देखने के बजाय जो है हमें एकजुट होकर के काम।
मुख्तार अब्बास नकवी जी, शुक्रिया हमसे हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए, और बहुत खूबसूरती से आपने ये इतनी बड़ी बात जो कह दी उसके लिए थैंक यू सो मच फॉर जॉइनिंग अस. आई नीड टू टेक अ वेरी शॉर्ट ब्रेक, बट ऑन द अदर साइड Dr. Tasleem Rahmani and Haji Syed Salman Chishty will also be joining us for a special conversation. Stay with us, be right back. Welcome back. We continue with this conversation and say good evening to two special guests joining us right now. Haji Syed Salman Chishty and Dr. Tasleem Rahmani also with us right now. Haji Syed Salman Chishty is actually from representative of the Dargah Ajmer Sharif. आपसे शुरू करते हैं. ये बहुत स्पेशल समय आ रहा है, एक महीना जिसमें काफ़ी सारे प्रेयर्स और फास्टिंग होती है. क्या मैसेज रहेगा आपका कम्युनिटी के लिए कि इस समय लॉकडाउन के समय कैसे रमज़ान को ऑब्जर्व किया जाए?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Greeting of peace and salam to all the viewers, and thanks to Mir now to taking up this important message across India. And as we all know that in next few days, the blessed month of Ramzan al-Mubarak will be starting. So the message, of course, which has already been shared earlier from past 1 week, that across the country, it's of course, we all know that we are all going through one of the most unprecedented, challenging times across the world. So the message is, of course, to observe the Ramzan al-Mubarak and all its important practices of praying, fasting, the night-long prayers, the recitation of the Quran. But this year, it's everyone has to come together and be together in praying with their family. Since the mosques across India will not be hosting the Taraweeh prayers because of the precautions, the extreme precautions, we must say, to get this COVID-19 virus defeated. So we are all together. And likewise, around the world, we have been speaking with different Islamic organizations around the world, Middle East, and European Muslim Forum, and even in Russia. Likewise, in each country, same advisories have been issued where all the prayers will be observed by individuals and the family together in their homes with no congregations. No congregation, I say again, for the prayers. And inshallah, the prayers will be accepted much more higher maqam on a spiritual understanding, because this is also a strong resolution that we are all coming together. As in the Quran Al-Karim, it is mentioned that if you save one innocent human life, as if you have saved the whole of humanity.
Right.
So we're all committed to that. Through the coming blessed month of Ramzan, it's a deep month where we all reflect deeply within ourselves. So inshallah, with this spiritual strength and resolute observance, the reward of all the faithful people who will be praying, including in their homes, will be much higher than ever.
Yes, yes. In fact, you're absolutely right. And what is happening world over now also needs to, continue happening in our country. For the last 1 month, I think largely everybody has followed the norms, irrespective of which religion, irrespective of what festival it has been. But Dr. Tasleem Rahmani, it's still very important to get this message out there. Even for the month of Ramzan, to the smallest of the towns and the villages, to the most remote places, that you cannot, and India cannot afford right now to even make one single mistake.
Thank you very much, and you are absolutely right. You see, it's a unprecedented happening all across the globe in last 1400 years. I think this is the first time in 1400 years that globally the mosques are not functional and the congregational prayers are not being offered five times. And the Muslims in India especially, they have they abide by the government instructions. And the same way the Shabbarat was there in 8th and 9th of this month, April. On that day, the people, Muslims, usually go to graveyards, and they did not go this year. So they are following those instructions. They are not offering namaz in the mosque. They are not going to the graveyard. The same way, I am sure that after 2 days, the commencement of Ramzan will be there, and the Muslims are not going to the mosque, etc. They will be following the strictly following the lockdown instructions and not gathering at one place, particularly in the mosque. Will stay back at home. And I don't think that we need any appeal to that. The Muslims, particularly, they are understanding the situation of this pandemic, and they now by now they could understand it very well, that they have not to come out, and the social distancing has to be maintained, and the physical distancing has to be maintained. But again, for the villages and other remote areas of the country, we all are together. We call it the global unanimity, yani ijma ummah. And it is a ijma ummah that this year we are not going to pray Taraweeh or the congregational prayers during the Ramzan month in the mosque. We will pray at homes, everybody with the family, and even at homes. We will not gather our neighbors and other people at our homes. Only the family members shall pray with the Jamaat and Taraweeh in home, not the neighbors, not a relative, not anybody else, because the purpose of this isolation will be defeated if we invite anybody at our home. Neither we have to go any home, nor we have to invite anybody at our home. Stay back at home, stay alone, and it will be more good opportunity and a peaceful opportunity to pray in isolation, in solitary, in your rooms, in your bedrooms. When there is a dark in the night, you pray to the God, to the Allah, and you go to the sajda and pray with your tears in your eyes. It will be more acceptable to Allah. Allah will be more happy if you are alone in your room and under the darkness of night, and you will be remembering Allah, you will be praying with Allah, you will be asking the peace for the whole humanity of the world. That will be more acceptable, and this message should be spread all across the country and across the globe. I'm sure, inshallah, we will be successful, victorious in fighting this pandemic, and peace days will return to us. We will go to the mosque again, we will go to the Hajj and Umrah again, and we will celebrate our festivals again, inshallah ta'ala. So please, I appeal to all the classes of our society, particularly Muslims, to follow the lockdown instruction and isolation, social distancing. Don't go to the mosque this year, and inshallah, everything will be fine. But at the same time, I want to make one more appeal to our ruling classes, that please do not try to criminalize or isolate people. As Mr. Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi Sahab still said, that this hate mongering will harm the country, not the Muslim, not the Hindus. Our national exchequer will be lost. Our peace and harmony will be disturbed. You see how the whole world is reacting against us. This will be a national loss. For with folded head, I appeal to each and every citizen of the country: don't be trapped under the communal people. We are brothers. For thousands here, we will remain. India will remain. We remain or not, but India has to survive. India will remain. Be peaceful, be harmonious, be brotherly with each and everybody.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And thank you for also, bringing that in and raising that point again. Dr. Rahmani and Haji Syed, my wishes to you as well on the, on the upcoming month of Ramzan. Thank you so much for joining us and putting out this message of harmony and love, and also an appeal to everybody to observe the lockdown irrespective of, what else is happening in our lives. We all need to do this, and I think largely everybody understands, but it's always good to just keep this in mind, that even one small mistake can put us back many steps in our fight against coronavirus. So everybody has to do their part. Thank you so much to both of you for joining us on this special conversation. And we move on on to story number 4 now, viewers, and this is actually a set of stories that I'm going to bring to you. Now, some of the lockdown violations have been happening even in the first phase of lockdown that we saw, even after the second phase was announced. But what's becoming a larger concern now is that as we bring in some amount of relief in certain parts, as we also try to maintain a balance between ensuring, restrictions are followed, but also some amount of economic activity takes place, some amount of construction work and welfare activities take place. There are now more reports of lockdown violations that are emerging right now. So I am actually going to focus on some of these incidents and get you news reports. We are going to get you one report from Delhi where social distancing was flouted in the Azad Mandi. Then we actually saw as Ghaziabad became stricter with its border with Delhi and shut down and sealed its border. There were traffic jams that took place. They're just going on to show how much of travel was still taking place. And then one example also coming in from Bihar where the Home Guard was humiliated in a very, very sad way. But first up, I want to go across and get you a report from Kannur in Kerala. Now, Kerala, while has brought in a large set of relaxation for many parts of the state because they have managed to bring down the number of cases and contain the infection, Kannur is actually still one of those districts which is in red zone. Yet, what we saw today was large-scale movement of two-wheelers, large-scale movement of four-wheelers, crowd in many different places. In fact, just to give you a bigger sense of what happened, Vivek is joining us live right now to bring us details. And Vivek, repeated warnings were being given by the police as well. But what did we see in Kannur today?
Yes, Tanvi, very unfortunate, incidents that took place in Kannur today morning. By around 8:30 to 8:30 and 9 o'clock itself, there was large number of vehicles, especially high-end four-wheelers and two-wheelers that's been flying in the city, especially in the city limits, right from morning itself. Because remember, 2 days back, there was a circular that's been put by the health department, explaining about the four different zones. Now, Kannur is among the red zone. Now, there are four districts that belongs to the red zone. One is Kannur, one is Kasaragod, one is Malappuram, and one is Kozhikode. So, as far as Kannur is concerned, Kannur is, currently Kannur has even, bypassed Kasaragod and has become the highest number of cases in Kerala is concerned. Nearly 50 cases are now, reported from Kannur. Today itself, out of the 19 cases reported, 9 are from Kannur. Now, this particular incident, has caused a huge embarrassment for the police. The IG in charge has also warned at that point of time that any more vehicles, step out, any more people step out of any more vehicles found, that they will be charging them with sections and even arresting them and even seizing the vehicles. Now, this kind of, even if a speculation regarding some easing of restrictions are being announced by the government, there is this tendency the very next day morning itself that vehicles start flying on the roads. Yesterday, we saw that in Trivandrum were a large number of vehicles, especially in the outskirts of Trivandrum, because day before yesterday night, there was this, dividing into different zones, and Trivandrum came into this orange B zone. Now, due to which, people had a feeling that, they can come out because a lot of people are staying inside, and, when they've been given a kind of, a relaxation, they have this tendency to come out in large numbers. That is exactly what we witnessed today in Kannur. Now, the IG has made it very, very clear, Tanvi, that such incidents have been repeated. Stringent action will be taken against all those people. Now, today, even the Chief Minister has made it very clear that the lockdown will be enforced in a more strict manner in Kannur because the number of cases in that district has gone very high as compared to other districts, and also most of these cases are people of Gulf returnees. Now, that is also a major concern. And right now, the government is taking all precautionary measures, especially in the northern districts, Kannur, Kasaragod, Kozhikode, and Malappuram, because this is the place where the government has to work more and make sure that the number still comes down, because most of these Gulf returnees are from these four districts, and hence the number went very high. Right from the beginning, it was very high, but now this concern has also become even more, grave, and that's the reason exactly why the Chief Minister has said that stressing from Kannur, because he himself is from Kannur district, and he has made it very clear that violators will not be spared at this point of time. Stringent action will be taken. Now, today itself, there are 2,300 cases that have been registered, in the state for violating the lockdown norms. And also, remember, Today, 19 cases have come up. Remember, in the last few days, it was all in single digits, but this time around, it was 19 cases. 16 people has been recovered in the last 24 hours, and all these cases are from Kannur. Now, which is indeed a matter of concern. Another matter of
Right.
concern the Chief Minister has raised is about a 61-year-old lady from Pathanamthitta who has been admitted in the hospital on the 8th of March. But even after 36 days, that
Okay.
even after testing 6 to 7 times, that she has turned positive. So that is the highest that's the highest number of days that a patient is staying in a hospital. So such cases are matter of concern. That is exactly what the Chief Minister has raised, and Chief Minister has also said that this is not
Yes,
the time to
and
relax.
Vivek, the fact of the matter is that Kerala has done a great job so far. And again, I have to emphasize on this: a couple of mistakes here and there can cost the state very quite a bit. And in Kannur, like you were also pointing out, there were 6 cases reported just yesterday. So obviously, the problem there continues. People have to understand that and take a step back, and the cops need to come down very, very harshly for any kind of violators that we see. Vivek, thanks so much for joining us and bringing up that update from Kannur in Kerala. From there, let's travel to the national capital, where the Azad Mandi actually became the point of focus today, because as more and more truck movement is being allowed, more and more easy movement of essentials is actually taking place. We are also forgetting how social distancing still needs to be maintained. Needs to be maintained even in wholesale markets. Needs to be maintained even in your sabji mandis. Here is a report that Vajiola got for us from the Azad Mandi that goes on to show that despite the presence of a rapid action force and Delhi police, the norms were being violated there on a pretty obvious scale. Take a look.
Vegetables and fruit are one of the essentials that fall under the essential goods category. And if we show you around, we are right now at the Azadpur Mandi. And if you see, there is a lot of police presence over here, a lot of people also present here. The RAF is also here. And with the bandobast that you see around, it clearly gives you an indication that Mandi, this particular Mandi has lot of people moving around, people not paying heed to the lockdown. If I can tell my camera person to show you around, he's going to show you scenes of what doesn't look like a lockdown anymore. There's so many people on the streets walking around. On the right hand side you can see the market running exactly the same way. It runs on an everyday basis. And this is the scene here. You have vegetables also on the go, and with this being allowed at the mandi, you can see how people have gathered here. There are so many people over here in groups, standing in groups here. You can see elderly people over here in groups. The police is continuously doing its announcements, but it doesn't seem to be falling into doesn't seem to be making sense to the people over here. It's all falling into deaf ear. You can see the security guard also telling them to keep moving, not to stand in one place. But with the presence over here, the people's presence over here clearly is something that is really shocking, because this is not something that you expect on a lockdown. You expect people to stay inside. Only minimal movement of people would be allowed here. But this doesn't look like minimal movement. You see so many people here.
Well, then there were also massive traffic snarls and traffic jams that were witnessed at the Delhi-Ghaziabad border, where barriers were put in place as Ghaziabad moved to seal its border, and a large amount of checking was also taking place. But why was there so much of traffic? What were these private cars doing moving from Delhi to Ghaziabad is something that we need to understand. And as we play out those visuals for you, let's also go across to Alok, who's joining me right now on this story. Alok, there's not been any change in rules as far as Delhi is concerned. What's changed for Ghaziabad? That's also been reporting a high number of cases. Why did we see this traffic jam?
Well, yes, absolutely. In fact, Ghaziabad has reported as of now 46 cases of corona, and Ghaziabad administration was very much strict. In fact, yesterday evening they put out a circular in which they had said that now they are going to seal the border, which is connecting border to Delhi, because the administration believe that the people who are coming from Delhi, they are coming with the coronavirus, because yesterday 6 persons turned out to be coronavirus, and they corona positive, and they came from Delhi. So this is the basic reason. In the circular they have mentioned, because the people who are coming from Delhi, they are bringing corona. So that is why they are going to seal the border. And today, when they seal the border, completely they seal the border. Remember, there was essential services that were allowed to move Only that was allowed to move, but because of the sealing of the border, the extra police force, extra checking was happening. And remember two things, that in the national capital, central government offices are also opened, and just a day before, UP government has also opened the state government offices. So the movement of people who live in Ghaziabad or who live in Delhi, they also wanted to move their destination. But because there was a massive checking was happening, that was the reason that Ghaziabad border, particularly, there was huge massive jam. But we hope that from tomorrow, because people did not know about the fact that completely border is sealed, so definitely from tomorrow it will be less jam. But people are also got another way that they can go to Delhi from via Noida, or if the people want to go to Ghaziabad, they can go via Noida or other routes as well. So this is the chaos that happened today in the morning. But now we hope that tomorrow the situation will be normal.
Okay, Alok, thanks so much for bringing us that update. The intent here is to highlight various kinds of problems that are emerging and violations that are happening to ensure that the authorities clamp down and plan this properly. Thanks, Alok, for bringing us that update on the Ghaziabad-Delhi border traffic that took place. Now, here is another story, and this one is actually a shocking incident coming in from Bihar, where a government officer of an agricultural department lost his cool when he was stopped at a checkpoint by a home guard during lockdown. He went on to then humiliate this home guard in the most shocking manner, asking him to do sit-ups in front of him. After the video of the incident went viral, the government took cognizance and assured that the action will be taken against the government official. But imagine this home guard, this guard was actually just doing his duty. He was ensuring that the norms are followed, but look the way he was treated.
मैंने वहाँ के एसपी से बात करी है, वहाँ के आईजी से बात करी है, उसके बारे में मैंने इसकी सूचना मैंने सरकार को भी दे दी है। सरकार इसका संज्ञान ले रही है। हम जांच रिपोर्ट का इंतजार कर रहे हैं। जांच रिपोर्ट आज तक आ जाएगी। चौकीदार को, वो सिपाही नहीं है, वो चौकीदार है, लेकिन चौकीदार हमारा अंग है, प्रशासन का अंग है, हमारी सबसे बड़ी छोटी इकाई है। चौकीदार की इज्जत को खराब करके जो अधिकारी अपनी इज्जत बनाना चाहते हैं, उनके लिए मुझे बहुत अफसोस है। ये बहुत ही शर्म की बात है। मुझे बहुत ही कहते हुए खराब लग रहा है कि ह्यूमन डिग्निटी इज ह्यूमन डिग्निटी। ये हमारा चौकीदार भी उतना इम्पोर्टेंट है, सिपाही भी उतना इम्पोर्टेंट है, उसकी भी उतनी ही इज्जत है जितने किसी बड़े आईएएस और आईपीएस अधिकारी की है। तो आदमी के सम्मान के साथ समझौता नहीं करना चाहिए।
Moving on from the stories about lockdown violations to now focusing on another kind of a political blame game face-off that's been taking place between the centre and the West Bengal government. Now, at this point, things seem to be largely resolved, but it's the daily political theatre that we are witnessing that is completely unacceptable, especially in times of a pandemic, viewers. Now, let me first tell you what's happened. What is this latest face-off about between the BJP and the TMC, or the state government and the centre, as you're looking at? So, centre has decided to send special teams to few states where in specific areas and cities there are a large number of cases and there is a huge concern. Now, they have sent their teams to Madhya Pradesh, to Rajasthan, to Maharashtra and even West Bengal. But in West Bengal, the minute this decision was announced, there was a huge opposition asking why is the central team being sent here? What is the point of it? What do they want to see? Why do they want to see it? And after the team reached there were then complaints made by the central team that they were not being given any kind of support, that this local state team was not really cooperating, not allowing them to go into COVID-affected areas and see what is happening. Through the day, this drama went back and forth with comments coming in from both sides saying we are not being allowed, the other side asking why do you even want to come in. Now, when we are looking at such a tough situation, should we be in such a confrontational mode? Can't for once the two sides actually come together and say, no, we need to work together without any drama, without any delay, without any theatrics? That's the only question that I'm asking right now. And joining us in this conversation this evening is Professor Saugata Roy, Member of Parliament of the Lok Sabha with the TMC, and Gopal Agarwal, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Professor Roy, why is there a need to question every move of the centre even in such times?
The need to question is because we must maintain the federal structure of our constitution. Under the Disaster Management Act, the center has a right to send a central team. But the state would expect that before sending the team, the state government would be informed. In this case, the request from the center came after the team had landed in Kolkata. Now look at the other thing. In Maharashtra, only two cities were mentioned, Mumbai and Indore. Mumbai and Pune. In Madhya Pradesh, only Indore. In Rajasthan, only Jaipur. Compared to that, in West Bengal, it's Kolkata, Howrah and 7 districts altogether. What is the meaning of this? West Bengal is much below in the list. Gujarat is much above it, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, they are all above it. No central team has been sent to them. 3 districts, Jalpaiguri and Kalimpong, these districts have had no coronavirus cases in the last 2 weeks. Still central team is being sent to them. What is the meaning of this? This is obviously political. We want that coronavirus is a global crisis, it's a national crisis. We want the center and state to act together. The Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has said repeatedly that we would cooperate with the center. When the center announces lockdown, we also announce, West Bengal also announces lockdown for the same period. We have not cut short the lockdown, nor have we extended the lockdown as announced by the center. What is the need of sending such a central team without informing us? Central team to so many districts as compared to very few. And a central team when no central team has been sent to Gujarat, which is badly affected, or to Telangana, or to Tamil Nadu. This speaks of a political conspiracy or politically motivated step. That's why we are protested. But now, after the center explained, the state government has cooperated and we are fighting the virus. Center is fighting against some states. So naturally we have objected, but I am thinking today the teams have been unblocked. They have gone wherever they wanted to. In Kolkata and Howrah, in North Bengal also they have been allowed. So I suppose the problem will not remain. That's all.
Okay. Okay, let me ask Gopal Agarwal this question then. Mr. Gopal Agarwal,
Hello.
why is it that you're only interested in Mumbai and Pune in Maharashtra, but as far as West Bengal is concerned, you have a long list of districts that the center wants to look at?
So the issue is that when the center is acting on something, it must have certain reasons. It has certain reasons. There are several reports. It is not that the reports are not there that the West Bengal is hiding many of the information. They are not coming out. They are the state government is not coming out with how they had set up a separate committee with at the state level to identify and remove the rights of even the postmortem cause of death. There are several incidents which show that the state government is acting in certain manner which is not conducive to the national fight. There are which issues with the PPE was provided, state government objected that the color is not right. Then there was a report that the state government has set up a committee of high level at the state level which will only decide the cause of death. Everywhere across the world, globally, it is the doctor who performs the postmortem. He decides what is the cause of death. Then there was a feeling, even there was statement from the medical association that certain informations are being hidden. Then now when yesterday this ventilators and other things was sent, they also objected to it, which was a valid kit from the US authorized agencies. So now the issue is that the center has decided with certain criteria, which are the state, which are the district, which are the cities where it needs to go. And it is not the West Bengal alone. How can you call it a politics when there is nothing to hide in West Bengal's fight against the corona? Why they are afraid of the central government in inspecting and identifying? If there is nothing, they will definitely come out with a report that there is no issue. Whatever the information is there, the state government is working fine. It's the central government requires, because it is not only the state. Actions of the state are affecting the whole nation's fight against corona. We saw what happened in Delhi, Tablighi Jamaat, and what happened after that, what is happening in Maharashtra. Some of the pockets, how they were, Malegaon and other things, they are complete not following this complete lockdown issues. So these issues have to be found out. There are certain good cases like Bhilwara and other places, but Jaipur is a hotspot where government needs to identify. Even if they are doing fine, the government needs to identify, get data, and if there is something very good that West Bengal is doing, it is let other states
Okay, but Mr.
replicate it.
Gopal Agarwal, okay. Okay, all right. So let me ask let me ask Professor Saugata Roy this question. Professor Roy, he's just counted out various other examples as well where Bengal has not been cooperative, and I'm honestly I'm simply trying to understand what could be the political motive behind asking access to a central team to more than one or two districts. What could they possibly do, politically speaking, by going into these districts that you are so scared?
No, this is an effort to sort of create an atmosphere that Bengal is very badly affected. As I said, that Bengal is very low in the list as compared to Gujarat or to Madhya Pradesh or Tamil Nadu or Telangana and Uttar Pradesh. We are much low on the list. So why select 7 districts of West Bengal, especially when Darjeeling, Jalpaiguri and Kalimpong has had no COVID cases in the last 2 weeks. So it's an effort to sort of paint West Bengal with a brush that all is not well in West Bengal. The other point, Mr. Gopal Agarwal has not replied to that. The other point I want to mention is that, yes, the state government has set up a expert committee. The expert committee consists of Dr. Sukumar Mukherjee, who is known as the best medicine expert in West Bengal, very senior man, and Dr. Abhijit Chaudhary, a gastroenterologist and hepatologist and also expert on community medicine. They are just trying to find out whether there was comorbidity. If a person has a kidney problem and is undergoing dialysis and he also contacts corona, it has to be found out what the death is due to. We just can't stamp, yes, the man had corona, so he died out of corona. No. If a man had heart problems and if he dies and later is found that he had corona, you can't stamp that he died because of corona. It is comorbidity. So to take care of the problem of comorbidity, this committee has been set up. Ventilators, there are enough in the state. Nobody has complained that there are not enough ventilators. But look at this. We have an organization in Kolkata which is central government controlled. It's called the National Institute of Communicable Cholera and Communicable Disease, NICD. Now they supplied West Bengal kits. These kits were found faulty. And now NICD has said that they will take back the kits. The center is not really helping the state The state asked for a lot of money, 25,000 crores. The center has not released any package to the state up to now. So there are many complaints about West Bengal, and then on top of this, there is this matter
But
of
Professor
sending
Roy,
the central
some of the
team.
issues, okay.
They land at 10 o'clock.
Right. If I may just
And
come
then
in.
at 1 o'clock,
Professor Roy, if I may just come in, and I
Yes.
will ask Gopal Agarwal to respond to some of the points you
Yes,
raised. But
ma'am.
I want to ask you this question. I know Bengal has fewer cases than some of the other big states, and Maharashtra is a huge state. Uttar Pradesh is a huge state, and Maharashtra has the highest number of cases so far. They're not complaining about the center coming in here. In Bengal, we are not even testing enough. You are literally at the bottom of the chart when it comes to testing per 10 lakh of people of your population. I'm not even talking in absolute terms. So how do we know what's out there when we don't test enough? We've got series of violation examples coming in even from Bengal, like other states, where people are thronging to sweet shops in the morning because the shops are open for fewer hours, and then there is a crowd outside those shops. So like any other state, there are issues in West Bengal as well. Why are we in denial of it?
no, that is not a major issue. You see, there were many markets where there was crowding. The state government has closed down some of the markets. The biggest wholesale fish market, Patipukur fish market, has been closed down. Some of the markets in Kolkata, like Jodubabu Bazaar, has closed down. If it's pointed out to us that there are crowds in a certain market, we'll take a step. That is not a matter of dispute. A central team is not needed to tell us that these are places where there is a crowd. The Chief Minister herself said that she will deploy the armed police to break up crowds wherever there are crowds. So there is no problem about that. We are one, that there should not be any crowd. There should be physical distancing. But for that, this is not necessary. You are talking about Maharashtra. Why not Maharashtra? There are so many big cities. Only Bombay and Pune has been chosen.
Because the
Why
cases
7
are largely
districts in West
concentrated in
Bengal?
Mumbai
There is
and Pune.
no reply. And then I am reading to you, just 1 sec, ma'am, 1 second. You belong to Times of India group. Headline in Times of India: after complaint, NICET replaces test kits. What is NICET? National Institute of Cholera and Enteric Diseases. They withdrew the first batch of faulty kits from state laboratories and replaced them with kits provided by National Institute of Virology, Pune. So you're saying that there are not enough tests. I'm saying that there are not enough kits supplied by the center. The kits they have supplied the central organizations, they are defective. They have to be replaced. So we are taking every possible step, and we are prepared to take any possible step which center suggests to us in a friendly manner, not by suddenly sending a central team and trying to paint the impression that West Bengal is in a very bad way, whereas there are so many states which are much worse off as far as corona is concerned. Gujarat, Narendra Modi's own state, Amit Shah's own state, is a case in point. You see the number of affected and dead in Gujarat. Why no central team was sent to Gujarat? Somebody must answer these questions.
Okay, let me ask Gopal Agarwal 2 points. Gopal Agarwal, firstly, how can we blame Bengal for low testing if you send them less number of testing kits or faulty testing kits? And secondly, why are you not focusing on Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat and only Bengal?
No, you see the reports around everywhere. The MHA also has report. MHA has report that Uttar Pradesh is doing good. Uttar Pradesh is cooperating with center. Uttar Pradesh is following whatever guidelines are being issued. They are locking down. They are implementing the lockdown, quarantine, isolation. You see, Tablighi Jamaat people have not yet been identified in West Bengal. Their information is not coming forthwith. Second thing is, there was reports everywhere, and our people are also saying, government people are also saying that conglomeration at the mosque were allowed. And your report also said that the market are seeing crowding. So these kind of issues and the information coming from media, from the government own agencies, from the people working there, their medical doctors, everybody is saying that the information is being hidden out. So what is the problem with West Bengal if the central team goes and finds out, and they can interact with the local administration, and if everything is fine, then the same report will come. These are not political people who are going. These are government officials, central government officials, other important scientists, medical team, or intelligence agencies, etc. All these are government officials. You have to believe them. If you are working in a federal structure, you have to believe central government administration. Everything is not being done by political people, that political people are going and finding out. If I talk now of the political, our party's report, it will show what worse situation there Bengal has. We have our old team, the party karyakartas, etc., are being not allowed to come to work for the good. There are several issues. The way West Bengal government is working on that. In the governor is also objecting to many of the things. So cumulatively, all these things show that there is certain things which the central government feels that the West Bengal is lacking in its approach, or if there are certain information which are not forthcoming, then those issues I have pointed out, those are in the public domain. If that confusion or misinformation is cleared, the only way it can be done is by the central government sending a team of officials who will find out and work accordingly, and whatever requirements are there, it is being done to the West Bengal and other states. It is not that the West Bengal alone will get out of turn anything. Whatever central government is offering, whether through direct benefit transfer or through medical kit, distributing.
I'm running out of time, Mr. Gopal Agarwal, but I think the centre needs to also approach this a little carefully, reach out to the state government in a manner that there is more cooperation and less confrontation. Everybody knows there is a history when it comes to the centre and the West Bengal government, but this can't go on in times of a pandemic. We wasted a whole crucial day because there was a communication gap and confrontation happening between the two sides before the central team could get a go-ahead to go and investigate what's happening on ground in West Bengal. And similarly, I think the TMC government in West Bengal needs to be a lot more cooperative, a lot more forthcoming. If there are issues that the Doctors Forum itself in West Bengal has raised, it is because there are issues on ground that must be looked into. All the states are listening to what's going wrong and changing those things, and West Bengal needs to do the same rather than blocking whatever help they are getting. Completely out of time. Thank you both of you for joining us on this conversation. We're going to take a very short break. On the other side, we put the spotlight on crude oil that fell below zero. The crude oil price fell below zero. What does that even mean? We tell you. Stay with us. Welcome back. Viewers, as promised, let's talk a little bit about crude oil, which effectively is what gives us a lot of the daily use products we have apart from our petrol and our diesel. Now, the crude oil prices, the WTI crude oil prices, crashed last night. I'm sure a lot of you woke up to that news and headlines that said the WTI crude price at minus $37 per barrel. Negative, minus 37. They actually went below zero. Let me just put this in perspective for you. What really happened? Because we are in times of a pandemic where the entire world has shut down, the demand for crude oil has also gone down. What are we using it for? The factories are not working, the industries are not working, most offices are not working, so your central air conditioning power has gone down. People are not using their cars, they're not allowed to go out, so your public transport and private transport usage has gone down. And hence, the demand for oil and the usage of oil has gone down. Nobody is buying oil anymore because all the countries have a good enough stock already with them. Fresh stock is not needed. Aviation companies are not buying oil anymore because they're not flying their planes, and so they don't need the ATF fuel anymore. Now what has happened is WTI crude, which is largely what United States buys and sells and trades in, they're running out of storage space for oil. All this oil that's been produced that people were supposed to buy, there is no place to store it anymore. In the middle of this, the contracts that were due to expire today, contract to pay up the money and take the delivery of oil that were due to expire today, the traders couldn't find place for this oil. So they told the buyers, take it away from me and I will pay you instead. That's how bad the situation became. That's what we mean by negative pricing. That they were willing to pay $37 per barrel to the buyer to just take away the crude oil because there was no place to store it. But what will be the impact on India? Effectively, not much. It's not as if you and I can actually go to the petrol pump and say, okay, give me some petrol for my car, tank, fill it up, and also give me money for that. That's not going to happen. In fact, the first reaction for many people was, well, when are we going to see a fuel price cut? Most likely, we're not going to see one. Let's go across to our experts to help us understand this better. What is going to be the impact on India? Mr. R.S. Sharma, former chairman and managing director of ONGC, is joining us this evening, and Anil Razdan, former special secretary for Ministry of Oil and Gas, Petroleum and Natural Gas, is also with us. Mr. Sharma, let me begin with you. Let's just try and understand it from an Aam Aadmi's perspective, because immediately we saw people saying, oh, but our prices are not going to come down. Are they? The government won't pass on the benefit to us. What is likely to happen?
Well, Tanvi, this is a kind of situation. Nobody is gaining. World over, nobody is gaining. Everybody is losing. If you look at India, the Indian government, center as well as states, they are losing huge revenue because the main source of revenue for center as well as states is the levy and the taxes, excise and taxes on the crude oil. Likewise, the Indian producers, ONGC, Oil India, KN India, they are getting a non-remunerative price and they continue to pay that excise cess ad valorem 20% out of that. Refiners, they are operating at 30-40% of the refinery capacity. So throughput is much lower. So all of them are incurring losses. So marketing companies, there's no sale. So petrol pumps, there's no sale. Everybody is bleeding today. So I have never seen or never heard this kind of situation in my career at least. And even through media reports, it is an unprecedented, never before kind of situation.
Yes, it is an ever before kind of a situation, isn't it? Because, we've never seen the prices fall like this, but unfortunately, nobody can do anything about it. Because Mr. Anil Razdan, we are also given to understand that, one aspect, of course, is that the government loses on money, on tax money, on revenues, which is very, very essential right now because we have to fight this pandemic. And so the governments also need more money. The other aspect also is, even if we were to buy it, do we have place to store this additional crude?
No, I don't think we have enough storage beyond 9 days use, 9 days annual use. And I wish we had built up much more storage because I remember when I was in the Petroleum Ministry more than a decade back, I was one of the promoter directors of the Indian Strategic Petroleum Limited. I think we ought to have developed by now at least 15 to 20 days storage because that comes in very useful if you unfortunately go to war or something like that. But this is, of course, a totally reverse situation where the citizen is not using oil, the factories are not using oil, aviation, which is one of the main users, is shut totally. But the reverse is that for the last few years, we've seen that the government dependence on oil revenues for taxation, whether for customs duty or for the state GST now, the tax, the sales tax that we pick up. You see, all that is dependent heavily on taxation on oil. Now, it's going to be a very odd situation for the government. I mean, as a citizen, I would wish that with the crash in the crude prices, the prices should come down automatically. That's what the citizen's expectation is. But when the government is losing a lot of revenue out of commerce, is going to have to do a lot more spending on health and giving out relief, understandably to people who need it. You need to provide a lot of medical expenditure. You have to provide consumption expenditure and also possibly give incentives to industry to start its wheels once again. So what I see as a former government man, that the government will be in a very, very tight position to try and reduce the prices of petroleum products to the citizen. The only relief for him is that I think his consumption of oil is going to be down. So in this given situation, maybe his overall budget on oil is not going to rise. I would be very happy if the duties on petroleum and petroleum products do not go up any further to make up the deficits in revenue garnering by the center and the states.
Yes, okay. If the duties don't go up, and that's the big if you're talking about, Mr. Sharma, is keeping in mind the situation and how the government is staring at a massive shortage in terms of money and revenues, is it likely that they increase the excise duties? But then also, how much will it impact us, keeping in mind that we are any which is in a lockdown and not really using, our cars and filling the tank up?
Yeah. Firstly, Tanvi, when this crude prices crashed last month from mid-50s to about mid-30s, at that time, government had raised excise duty by 3 rupees per litre on petrol as well as diesel. And when the finance bill was passed, so amendment was incorporated and parliament approval has been taken by the government to take empowerment enabling approval that if needed for arranging funds for fighting COVID-19, the government may raise another 8 rupees per litre excise duty on petrol as well as diesel. That is the enabling approval government has taken. But today, unfortunately, after that lockdown has happened, no sale happening. So whatever the revenue government was getting, that is not there. And there is no point increasing the duty when the sale is not happening. So this is a unique kind of dichotomy where nobody is gaining, everybody is only losing. Government is losing, customer is not getting benefit of the lower prices, and customer is not likely to get also. Let me tell right away, being in the industry for a long time, customer cannot expect any lower prices, at least in foreseeable future. There are different reasons. If need be, I can go in detail, but I don't think we have time for that.
Yes, and that brings in a lot of clarity and perspective to what we wanted to highlight today, that we can't really expect the prices to go down in the near future, not because our government doesn't want us to benefit, but because there is no space and there is no bandwidth for that benefit to be passed on to us. We are actually looking at the downside of this crude fall, and in many ways it will impact us negatively. I wish I had more time with both of you gentlemen, but I'm hoping you'll join me again one more time to look at the larger impact it could have on our economy if the prices of crude continue to be at these levels, over a longish period of time. But thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us right now. Just to summarize what we just spoke here and what the experts pointed out, and I want to add a couple of things as well to this. Keep in mind, viewers, that we don't benefit too much in terms of the price when WTI crash, a crude price crash, because we largely buy the Brent crude. WTI crude is largely what US looks at and sells. We take most of our crude from Saudi Arabia. Secondly, India has enough stock. Our tanks are almost full. So even if we had to buy this cheap crude oil, we don't have place to store it. And thirdly, and the most importantly, when the demand goes down, like in our country, and the prices also go down, then the government also loses big time. They lose on tax revenue, on the sale revenue that's coming in. And when that happens, they see a shortage in money. They will look for other ways to gain and bring in some more amount of money. Not just that, the government was hoping to get some additional money from the BPCL divestment. Now that runs into a hurdle, and that money is also going to get blocked and stuck. So keeping all of this in mind, don't expect any relief anytime soon. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation.